Hey, today I'm again talking about 3 movies I got from the library. Woo! And in particular, these are 3 newer movies that I have been meaning to watch for a while, but haven't had the opportunity until now because libraries are awesome. The names of the 3 movies I'm talking about today are Waves, Werewolves Within, and Slaughterhouse Rulez. First up is Waves. This is a 2019 A24 film, directed and wrote by the guy who also directed and wrote It Comes at Night. And this film's really interesting. It's definitely really it's kind of hard to describe what this movie is though. I think the best description would be it's a lot like Euphoria, like in both story and aesthetic, but more realistic and less kind of like crazy out there. Like there is crazy stuff that happens in this movie, but it seems more grounded. It basically follows this family living in Florida. The first half focuses more on the son, and then the second half more so focuses on the daughter. And it's really good and really powerful. It's definitely a slower movie that takes its time, and that's because it really wants to establish tone, in particular with music and stylized shots. But it does a really, really fantastic job that as long as you can handle a slower movie, it's a very, very beautiful movie. I in particular loved the wrestling stuff because it, for the most part, did a really good job of depicting wrestling in a realistic fashion. And I was a wrestler in high school, so like it's always fun for me to see like good portrayals of wrestling. It activates like a caveman part of my brain where I'm just like, yeah, basically. But yeah, this is just a good, sad, but beautiful story told really, really well that I definitely recommend. Next up is Werewolves Within. This is a 2021 movie. The basic premise is a ranger moves to a new small town where some mysterious things are afoot, and perhaps one of the locals, or him himself, is a werewolf. I was excited for this movie. I had high hopes, but I had a feeling it was going to disappoint. And the movie did. It was okay. The 2 leads were good, Sam Richardson and Milena Finitrobe. They're great. They have solid chemistry. They're really cute together. They play off each other really, really well. One of the many issues is that they don't really get a lot of time to shine. Like, they're the leads, but this movie dedicates a lot of time to its myriad of silly side characters. And like, they're interesting, but they shouldn't have been the focus of this film. I really didn't care about any of them. I don't know. I feel like there is a lot of stuff in here that I enjoyed and that I liked, and I feel like this really just needed some more ironing out, because I could just see really big, really distinguished wrinkles in here. And it's just like, it was really frustrating, because like, this is a nice looking movie. I shouldn't be this frustrated with it. And I don't know if it like stems from just like the editing, like they weren't able to cobble together what they needed, or like if it was because of COVID and they weren't able to film everything they needed, or like the script was really lacking or something. Especially because like this turns into like a whodunit. Essentially when the movie started I was like, okay, if someone's gonna be a werewolf, who's it gonna be? Well, this is the most obvious choice, so they're not gonna do that. Fast forward to the end of the movie, it was the obvious choice, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that was dumb. All right, let's move on. So yeah, I don't know. It was okay. And also, spoilers, there is a werewolf in this movie, and I don't like the look of them. It was a not great design. This movie it's low budget, and it needed a bit more budget, I guess. And lastly is Slaughterhouse Rulez. So back in March of 2020, I asked my Instagram followers for movie recommendations. And I said that I would watch anything, good, bad, or whatever, just as long as someone recommends it and I can find it, I would watch it. And to the best of my knowledge, I watched all of the movies that everyone recommended that I hadn't already seen, save for one. And that would be this movie. And spoilers, I really did not care for this movie. Though it is hard to describe exactly what it is I don't like about this movie. The basic premise is this 28-year-old man who's supposed to be 17 is going to a new private school, but he's getting bullied even though he's ridiculously hot, and eventually some horror stuff starts happening. I do think part of my issue is that there's like lots of little like jump scare type things, but like it wasn't scary. And then the horror stuff doesn't actually start happening until like the halfway mark slash the third act. I just didn't care about like the regular character drama at all. Like none of it was interesting to me. So I just wanted the movie to hurry up and get to the horror stuff. But then by the time the horror stuff happened, I really didn't care about the movie. And even like still watching it though, I wasn't really that impressed with the horror stuff. I again still just didn't really care for it. Which sucks too, because again, this movie was recommended by someone who follows me, and I fully 100% appreciate the recommendation. And I wish I would have connected to it in some way, shape, or form, but I didn't, and that sucks. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Waves sitting at number 26 in the really like section. And then after that, we have Werewolves Within sitting at number 97 in the liked category. And then bringing up the rear is Slaughterhouse Rulez sitting at 119 in the didn't like category. And this is out of a total of 132 old movies so far this year.